How's it going, everybody? Fernando of Halos in the infield, taking another stab at this. Now, it's been a couple hours. It's been about 4 hours since the news broke that Shohei Ohtani is going to be playing for the Dodgers. He signed a 10-year deal with no opt-outs, $700 million. Now, before you're like, $70 million, that's crazy. There's still a lot of news that needs to come out as far as how the money is going to break down. Because from my understanding, and so far the understanding of all the major beat writers, a lot of this money is going to be deferred. So with that being said, it's not going to be the giant hit to the payroll that people are expecting. Because, I mean, $70 billion, let's just say you're paying that straight up. You're not going to build a championship team like that. I don't care who you are. Yeah, the Dodgers are good at drafting. Yeah, they have a good farm system. Yeah, they seem to do things the right way. But they're not perennial winners. Say what you want about them making the playoffs, but, I mean, they've won one World Series in the last 30 years. That doesn't scream winning to me. It's just hard. Out of everywhere Shohei Ohtani could have gone, he ended up on the one team that us Angels fans didn't want him to go to. You could have gone at, hell, the Texas Rangers even, and I would have been like, eh. I mean, the only other team I would have just not wanted to see him on was the Astros. And the Astros were just another team that was, oh, well, they're not even in the running. It's like, okay, cool. It was the Blue Jays, it was the Braves, it was the Cubs, it was the Giants, and the Angels. And those were the teams that were rumored. So it was like, okay, really the only place I don't want him to go to there is the Dodgers. Ohtani's a Blue Jay? You know what? I'm cool with that. Hell, maybe I'd even get myself an Ohtani Blue Jays jersey. Why? Because he's on that side. He's playing in Canada. Canada has a great market. They've experienced multiple players of Asian descent. They have a giant community of, hardcore baseball fans in Canada. They have a large Asian demographic over there. I could have seen that. I heard Blue Jays and I was like, you know what? That makes sense to me. It's an up-and-coming team. They just redid their stadium. There is a lot of potential over there that I saw the appeal to that. I was like, okay, I could see him going to Toronto. But the one place I did not want him to go is the place where he ended up. The Dodgers. Why? Because now Shohei Ohtani is Benedict Arnold. You can say whatever you want. And look, let me say this. Look, I'm not an idiot. I understand how free agency works. Ohtani earned the right to hit free agency and make his decision. I get that. I take it as gospel. You're right. It is his right to decide that he wanted to be a Dodger. And you know what? All power to him for that. I'm not mad that he had the ability to make his decision. I am simply upset because I'm disgusted that he's ending up in Dodger blue. Okay? The Dodgers have won one championship in 30 years. And say what you want about it being a 2020 championship. It's still a candy-ass championship. Okay? Say what you want about, well, hey, the Dodgers make the playoffs every year. Okay. They got bounced last year by the Diamondbacks. And yes, the Diamondbacks were a young and hungry team. And I don't think the Diamondbacks are going anywhere. Because they're young and up and coming, and they still have some people in their minors who haven't even made it to the top yet. They still have the ability to contend. So, I mean, naturally, this makes the Dodgers the World Series favorites, right? Because they have three big names in their lineup now. They got Mookie Betts, the great 270 hitter. Woo! He's an infielder all of a sudden. Woohoo! Pin a rose on his goddamn nose. All right, you got Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman, I'm a big fan of Freddie Freeman. I'll say that. Good guy, good ball player. And, same thing on Mookie Betts, right? Good guy, good ball player. I'll tip my cap to that. I'm not here to talk ill about any of those guys. And, and to an extent, I'm not here to talk ill about Ohtani either. He had the right to go to Los Angeles. I'm sickened to my stomach that he's going to the Dodgers. And naturally, the first thing that comes to my mind, and a lot of Angels fans' mind, is, hey, all this just for them to what? Win 120 games, 130 games, and get bounced in the first round? I don't think it's crazy to think that 1 out of those 10 years, they're probably going to win a World Series, right? I mean, even a blind squirrel catches a nut. Don't believe me? Look at the 2020 season. The only proof you need the 2020 season was a fluke is the fact that Clayton Kershaw pitched well in the postseason, right? And Clayton Kershaw has not, my friends, been a good postseason pitcher throughout his entire career. That's another question. Does he go back to the Dodgers? Who knows? There's so many unanswered questions. We are going to do a full episode tomorrow with Dominic Lorenz of Catella Chronicles, Todd, and myself. That is the plan. This was just more of an instant reaction. How are you guys feeling? Because you guys are probably feeling the same way I am. There's a lot of people burning Ohtani jerseys, ripping Ohtani jerseys, shirts. And I understand the anger. I understand the frustration. Because right now, the only word that's going on through my mind is pure disgust. That's how I feel. Now, Ohtani's a good dude. We have every indication that that's the case. It's just, you can't tell me that this man didn't do it for the money. Because if he really wanted to win a championship, is LA the place you would have gone? They're not proven World Series winners. And before the Dodgers fans are going to attack this video and this podcast and say, oh, well, we make the playoffs every year. Cool. Yeah, you guys get that little patch on the side of your hat and on your jersey that says you make the playoffs. You guys pay all that extra money to go, to your big giant-ass stadium, Chavez Latrine, as they call it, where they evicted all those poor Mexicans that lived in Chavez Ravine, because that's what it was before it was turned into Chavez Latrine. And, completely gutted out communities of people who have lived there for decades. And we built a baseball stadium there. So, their blood is on the hands of the Dodgers. That's a topic for a different day. We've talked about that before. But, man, oh, man, this just leaves a bad taste. It really does. Anywhere. He could have gone absolutely anywhere. I can't wait to see all the comments about, another Angels fan crying. Okay, hey, we'll see. We'll see what happens when you guys are in the postseason, and we're not because we're Angels fans and we don't make the postseason, right? And we're probably not going to. Now, the good news for the Angels, they're not on the hook for $700 million over the next 10 years. No matter which way you slice or dice it, at the end of this contract, it's not going to be worth it. Now, in a mythical world where the Dodgers win multiple World Series, that's not going to happen. But if they do, obviously, if they win 3, let's just say they win 2 World Series in the first 5 years. Ohtani's productive for those 3 out of those 5 years, and then he just fades into irrelevancy the last 5 years. Because Father Time is undefeated, especially for a two-way guy. I mean, there's no way that he's going to long-term be able to pitch and hit. And before we get the hate comments about, well, of course you're saying that now because he's not an Angel. We have a podcast. Our words live forever. And that's why I didn't jump on and immediately want to do a video, because I wanted to sit back, collect myself just a little bit. I mean, I'm wearing my Mike Trout loyalty shirt for any of you guys who are just listening on audio, because, hey, say what you want about Mike Trout. The guy has been loyal as an Angel. I don't want to hear anything anymore about, and you know what, and this is including me, because last year, I was talking a little bit of trash about Mike Trout. I was like, hey, man, you're one of the best players in the world. What are you doing? You're having a bad season. But at least he was loyal to the soil. He was an Angel and wanted to stay an Angel. Unlike Shohei Ohtani, he wanted the LA lifestyle. Perhaps he wanted to stay living in Orange County, right? Because Orange County is beautiful. Maybe he wanted to stay doing that. But the Dodgers offered him more money. So he went there. And like I said, I get it. That's how free agency works. But we can't help but feel a little bit like this is the LeBron James leaving Cleveland, going to Miami. The difference is we're not going to get him coming back, winning a championship for us. Because if that was the case, maybe we would be able to celebrate this a little bit. If Ohtani had given us a championship, and keep in mind, guys, this is baseball, not basketball. One player doesn't move the needle that much in baseball. Don't believe me? The Angels have had two of the best players, and that really hasn't moved the needle too much. All I know is that this is 100% a reflection on ownership. Now, I don't think that ownership failed. The only reason why ownership failed is because he went to the Dodgers. It isn't because he left. I wouldn't have been mad at all or upset at all if he would have left. He did, clearly, and I'm cool with that. The anger is that you failed him so bad to the point that he not only left, but he went to your crosstown rival. And the Freeway Series has been massive for the Angels for really every year until COVID hit. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, the Freeway Series hasn't been very competitive. The Dodgers have kind of been blowing us out of the water. But before that, it was very competitive all the time. There really was no major blowouts, right? It was like a WWE where one of the guys punches the other and everyone cheers, and then the heel punches the other guy and everyone boos. Yeah, boo, yeah, boo. If you guys watch wrestling, you guys know what I'm talking about. And that's kind of what the Freeway Series was forever. They'd punch us, we'd punch them son of a guns right back. And the Angels were running the Freeway Series. But it just leaves a bad taste. My friend Brian Crosby of Marvel-themed entertainment just texted me. A good question. You're going to boo him in Anaheim? Yeah, I'm going to boo him in Anaheim. Because now he's the enemy. Maybe it's one of those times where, like, the first at-bat, maybe we cheer him just one time, like a, hey, maybe. But all I feel right now is absolute anger, just brewing inside. I don't have any of my Ohtani stuff here, because we're in the process of moving. I don't have my shirts. I don't have my jerseys. And I'm not saying I'd be the guy to go out of my way and burn everything. In my mind, I was, like, totally ready. I was like, man, I'm going to go grab the barbecue and burn everything. I was ready mentally, but I don't know if I'm going to do that, but it's going to be very hard to look back on those moments fondly. It's going to be so annoying to turn on Bally Sports West next year during the Freeway Series and hear, oh boy, we get to see our old friend Shohei. Oh boy, Ohtani. It's going to be so hard for that kind of stuff. And now the really difficult question, now what? This organization needed more than one player, which is why I've said vocally on these podcasts, like, hey, it'd probably be a good thing if you left. And my mindset is still that. It's better in the long run for this organization that Ohtani left. Can you guys imagine the Angels paying him $700 million? But the thing that really hurts here is now, where are we as an organization? I'm really, really hoping that we hear from Perry Manassian about which direction the Angels are going to next. They need to do one of two things, and they need to figure it out quickly. They need to rebuild, full rebuild. Find guys that have value and get something for them. Let's have 2 or 3 tough years, and let's go out and win in 2026, 2027. That range. I can live with that if that's the direction. I've cheered for that for a couple years because I've wanted to feel like this organization has a place where they're going. But knowing Artie Moreno and the way this front office operates, they're going to want to immediately pivot to, okay, well, hey, let's get everyone else available. Is that going to make us better? There's a lot of holes to fill. Who's going to play right field? What about left field of Taylor Ward isn't competitive? I mean, he got hit in the head. Maybe it's going to take him a while to get back to baseball form. He struggled before he got hit in the head. When he got beamed by that ball in Toronto, right? He was just starting to heat up. Rendon's never playing. Forget that. Any chance of us ever getting a penny's worth out of the Rendon contracts out the window. I said last year, I was so confident that Rendon was going to have a bad year. I said that if this guy's like top 10 in MVP voting, I would donate $500 to charity of his choice. I'll probably do the same thing this year, but say like top 15. I don't think they even do a top 20, but if they do, F it, top 20. Maybe I'll make a giant donation. I mean, not giant for, standards of, I'm not donating thousands of dollars, but, $500 is a sizable donation. Anyway, I've said all this kind of stuff, and that's where I still am. Neto, Ohapi, Shanuel, there is some hope there with the core of this team. Even to an extent, Detmers and Sandoval in the rotation. But this organization needs to be honest about what they are. Is getting JT Martinez, Marcus Stroman, and Blake Snell going to fix it? Maybe that'll help you replace Ohtani, especially for the amount of money you would have paid Ohtani. But is that the answer? Is that going to get us closer to a championship? We're going to find out a lot here over the next 2-3 weeks. Now that Ohtani is signed, I would tell you guys that the next week, especially a week and a half leading up to Christmas, a lot of these guys are going to get homes. We're going to see what the Angels are all about. But as of right now, I'm angry. I feel anger. I don't feel hatred. I don't feel ill will. Shohei Ohtani is the most talented player in Major League Baseball of all time. Okay? I've said that before, and I will stand by my words because Shohei Ohtani is absolutely incredible. The things he does on a baseball field, immaculate. We're never going to see this again. Mark my words. Maybe our kids will. Maybe their kids will. But I don't think we will see this again. And it's going to be tough because as a baseball fan, because that's what I am. And, I'm a baseball fan in the sense of I love the game of baseball. I can't sit down and watch a baseball game I don't have a rooting interest in. I just can't. If the Angels aren't playing, I don't care. People will be like, oh, Sunday Night Baseball. Same thing with like football. Like, oh, it's Sunday Night Football. It's the Jaguars versus the Falcons or whoever the hell's playing. I'm a Broncos fan, I'm a Coyotes fan, and I'm an Angels fan. And I use the word Broncos fan loosely. I don't watch football like I used to. But those are my teams. If my teams aren't playing, I don't care. I can't sit down and watch the game. It just doesn't mean anything to me. Oh, it's the World Series. It's the Astros versus the Reds. Great. Cool. Have fun watching it. I mean, maybe I'll tune in for like an inning or two, but that's the extent. If the Angels aren't playing, I don't care. Maybe even if the Padres are playing, I'll watch for a little bit. Sure. Just because I lived there for 20 years. My dad's a big Padres fan. So, if I'm with, friends who support that team, maybe I can watch a little bit. Okay. But the point is, I'm a baseball fan. So, as a baseball fan, I understand the beauty of what we're seeing. Because it's incredible. He's an incredible talent. But it's going to be so hard watching him in blue. I can't cheer for him anymore. I can cheer for him making history and continuing to be the best player in baseball, but it's just going to leave a bad taste in my mouth. He wins another MVP? Cool, who cares? He wins a Cy Young? Cool, who cares? That's not me being bitter. That's just the simple fact of he went to a division, to a crosstown rival, sorry. I keep saying division rival. It's just, they're not in our division. They're not even in our league. And they're going to keep saying, well, we're not rivals because we keep winning and you guys keep losing. No, it's still a crosstown rivalry. Forget that. It's still a crosstown rivalry. It is. For whatever reason, Artie Moreno claimed Los Angeles even though the Angels play in Anaheim. So I can keep going forever. That's the immediate reaction of where I am. Seems like a lot of you guys share the same sentiment. Follow us on our social medias, Halos in the Infield. I asked the question of the day relatively late, obviously, once this news broke, about what you're mad about. Are you mad that he's not an Angel? Or are you mad that he's a Dodger? And everyone feels the same way I do. It seems like I'd say 98% of the comments are, I'm just mad he won to the Dodgers. Everyone's like, well, on to the next one. And that's my mentality too. It's just, God, why do you have to go to the Dodgers? How do you guys feel? Leave a comment down below. Or if you're listening on audio, go ahead and follow us on our social media. Head over to Halos in the Infield on Twitter or Instagram and just vent a little bit. Have a great day. And to all the Angels fans out there, I'm sorry we're going through this. Just another day of being an Angels fan, right? More disappointment. And more disappointment's probably in the horizon. All I can say is, Arturo Moreno. We have it on good authority that you know who Halos in the Infield is. You don't like us? And we know that. Sell the team, Buster. Your time's done. See ya.